Hey, good evening, Facebook Live. Mike Phillips here for day 30 of my Facebook Live challenge. So I've made it all the way to the end here, or the end of 30 days anyway. And so I wanted to speak a little bit tonight. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to hop into the room and so forth. But I wanted to speak a few minutes tonight on follow through and finish, right? And that's two kind of separate subjects. It's not one independent subject. So like if you were reading the Facebook tagline, it's not follow through and finish like, hey, it's all done. Because for me, obviously, for anyone who knows me, you all know that I really enjoy doing things online like this, like podcasts and YouTube videos and now Facebook Live videos. And actually, video was not really my thing. It was radio and podcasting. So this was one of those deals that definitely took me out of my comfort zone for the last 30 days, or at least for the first maybe week of the 30 days. And then I got pretty comfortable with it. And I realized that regardless of what it is that I was going to say or do, it really didn't matter to me. The people that wanted to tune into me and that I wanted to tune into in kind, we were tuning into each other and so forth, and that was all good. So it didn't matter that it was something that, it was less than perfect, right? It's not Hollywood quality, it's Mike Phillips quality, and it's more about the connection, and it's more about that connection with other people, and what the message is for me. Obviously there's lots of people that can go live and you can talk about anything or nothing at all. So tonight is just about talking about kind of the follow through of going through the 30-day challenge, because video is something that took me way outside of my comfort zone. It's easy to do radio because people don't see you reading a script or see you thinking, right? I got to check up here now and again because I'm trying to think of the next thing that it is that I'm going to say. So to me, it's really easy to do radio. Plus, I've got a face for radio, right? It's a lot harder to get in front of a camera and have people not just judge what you're saying or how you're saying it, but how you look while you're doing it. So that's something that took me out of my comfort zone. So as people are tuning in tonight, one, you can always leave comments down below. Please tune into my live feeds. I'm not the Dan Webb of Facebook Live. I'm not going to do the Facebook Live 365, but I will definitely post some more live videos. And for the people that are tuning in, who do we got? Anthony, thank you so much. Dan Webb, of course. Quentin Clark, tuned in at the early on and now tuning in at the end. So I would encourage anybody, I'm telling you, if it's not like a grind, like, oh man, you got to get out here and do Facebook Live challenge. I would encourage, especially, and I'm telling you, Quentin, you're watching, you are somebody that is so impactful to people. I would so encourage you to do something like that. And even if it's not a 30-day challenge, that you're not going to go on and share something every single day or have a theme and that kind of deal, but do it once a week. Because to me, I think you are such an impactful individual. And I mean, you certainly are in person. If you could share that personality with people in an online format like this, I think it would be awesome. And some of these guys, Dan, I learned so much from you, about you. For one, you weren't someone that I knew well before this, and now I feel like we're homies, versus Anthony, who's tuned into a ton of them. And I talked to you last night. Anthony's somebody that I now have known for years, and it's really cool because he and I have even connected in different way, because I've tuned in and watched his stuff, and you get to see somebody on a different personal level, like outside of work. So for me, it's been I don't know if uplifting is the right word, but it's certainly been a fun experience. It has been something. If you're somebody that hasn't engaged in this sort of format and connecting with other people, I'm telling you, you got to try it. It's fun, and even if it's once or twice, you'll be amazed. People actually tune and watch this stuff, right? And yeah, and Quentin says, and you loved it. I have loved it. For me, once I got involved in it, because the way the Facebook challenge thing worked was, okay, you have to go on 30 days and just do a Facebook Live. It doesn't matter. It can be on anything or it can be nothing. The only rules, it can be on anything or nothing. You have to do it every day. If you miss a day, you got to do 2 the next day. And if you miss 2 days in a row, it starts over from the get-go. And the one primary rule is you can't do it from the bathroom, right? I think we came up with that rule way early on, that you cannot Facebook Live from any bathroom anywhere. It's just not right. So, it is something that I've learned a lot, even about myself. It was cool. I was talking with my wife. I said, this is one of those things that I got challenged. And for me, I go after the win. No matter how small, I go after the win. And I want to go after it to show that, okay, yeah, even if it's 30 days, if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, hell, I'm going to do it. Get on there and send a message. So what I was saying is, about a week into it, I decided, okay, well, if I want to do this, for who I am, I'm going to come up with a plan, because one of my deep goals is I want to make a really positive impact on other people. I want to help people grow and help nurture them and help other people to win. And I don't win all the time. I'm not saying that that's the case, but if there's something that somebody can gain from my knowledge or experience, I want to spread that love, baby. Dan says, go for the gold, baby. Absolutely. And so I sat down and I wrote out about my last 20, not about, but exactly. I sat down and I wrote out for what were my 21 days of themes going to be for my Facebook challenge, so that I had a plan and I wasn't just coming on and babbling. Because especially for the people that know me in person, I am an extremely capable babbler, right? So as I'm talking about follow through and finishing, for me, follow through is one of those deals, regardless of how small it is. And I started the follow through thing. I started with my kids at a very young age. That's something that for me has always been very near and dear. It's very important. And as I've been raising my kids, that's something I've tried, my wife and I both, and God bless my wife. I'm going to get off on a tangent here, but I have to tell her, thank you so much for putting up with me through this, because some nights it was like, it's 10 o'clock, it's 10:30. Hey, honey, I got to go do my Facebook Live. Are you excited? She's like, no, I'm not excited. I don't need you to do that right now. But hell, I went and did it, right? And it's fun, and hopefully added some value to folks. So that's a side note. But even with my kids, with the follow through for me, and that's something I think my dad probably instilled in me, that it's like, look, if you're going to sign up and say you're going to do something, no matter how small or how silly you might think it is, or how trivial, or you think, well, this isn't important, I don't need to do this one deal today, it's going to impact somebody. And so I think a lot of you guys that were doing it, the Facebook Live challenge, were into it for maybe a week or 10 days. And Jason said to me, he says, Mike, you got to do this challenge. It'll be awesome. Here's where we're going to start it. I'm going to interview you. And what are you going to do? The guy's standing in front of you. I said, okay, I'm down. Challenge accepted, right? Well, who knew that 30 days later, here's where I'd be. And it is, you could say, well, it's kind of silly, but right here, it's made an impact on me too. So that follow through is, one, just doing what I said I would do and following through and showing my boys that, hey, this is something that I said I would do. My daughter, my wife, this is something I said I would do. Yeah, it's Facebook, and these are people that I could connect with on a daily basis, or I could pick up a phone and call or text. But this is what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to do it strong, and I'm going to make it important. And that is something, especially like my daughter is not quite old enough yet, but my sons, man, when they've signed up for sports, and even if they've hated them, because sometimes they'll hang up for sports and they go, this sucks, right? I didn't realize what I was signing up for. It's like, okay, well, you signed up for it. You're part of a team. You committed to it. Guess what? You're going to do it at least for this season, and you're going to learn what it means to follow through. And your teammates are going to see that you're somebody they can depend on, even if it's something you don't enjoy. And afterwards, if you don't want to do it, you never have to sign up for it again, right? But you got to complete it right now. that's my take on it. And like I said, that's probably something I got early on from my dad. I remember playing soccer, and my gosh, I hated it at points. But he says, you signed up for it. You wanted to play a team sport. Guess what, dude? Congratulations, right? You're playing it all the way through to the end. So Quentin says, my phone keeps dying. Not sure if it's your connection or mine. Let's assume it's yours. Let's just assume it's yours. Anyone else got a freezing connection? I don't. For me, it's crystal clear, smooth video of Mike Phillips, this guy. So, yeah, the follow-through is something that's really is important to me. And like I said, I've said that to my kids. My wife knows how important it is to me that if we say in our family, and I know that is for a lot of people, if we say we're going to follow through and do something, we do it. You know, as far as the finish, here's my little story on that, and then I guess I'll wrap it for tonight. And certainly, again, anybody has questions, anyone wants to create some conversation, bring it, man. I'm in day 30. And I'm about to wrap this, and then I'm going to release some really kick butt coming soon to a internet connection near you. I'll come up with some other really kick butt content, do some training stuff, talk about some BDC stats. I'm all about those BDC stats, right, Anthony? So I thought that'd be something to do, but just not for the Facebook Live thing where it's impromptu like that. I'll probably script something and do some BDC training stuff because that's a lot of fun for me. Probably for you. So, talking about finish. I remember when my oldest son was about probably 10 years old, and he played for a absolutely kick-ass football team. And the coach on this football team was phenomenal. One of the best coaches, Mitch McCreary. If you ever tune in and watch this, because I'm connected to him on some social platforms, the guy is, in my opinion, bar none, the best youth football coach that we ever had. So if someone knows Mitch, tag him, or I'll tag him afterwards, because seriously, he needs to hear that. He was just awesome. And coming up through that, they used to do, at the end of each game, he would award his players with a trophy, which at the time was a rock. You know, he would decorate up a rock. And I think Colin, my oldest son, he was about 10 when they would do that. And they would come up and they would award kids that had done excellent in the preceding game. So if the player had done excellent and they were the top dog or the champion or the hardest hitter or the guy with the biggest follow through, and they had some different trophies, which were these, I mean, it was rocks about this size. If you can see on the screen, it's probably a 6-inch rock that they took the time, the coach and I think his wife and their kids would decorate all up, and they would decorate it with the theme. And multiple times he gave away a trophy, and it was called the Finish Rock. And to this day, my son still has his finish rocks. He because we talked about the follow through, and we talked about how you're gonna man up or woman up and do see that follow through on the sport, on the game, on the task at hand, and it made me so proud as a dad to say, okay, well, if he didn't do anything else, he didn't get a tackle, he didn't get a touchdown, he wasn't the man, at least if he saw it all the way through to the end, he won that Finish Rock trophy, I don't know, several times throughout his years. And to this day, he still has them on his trophy shelf upstairs. To me, that's awesome, right? Is the reward a kid, it wasn't about the everybody gets a trophy or the participation award. It was about that one kid on the team that saw it all the way through. And so for me, that just hit home that it was like, okay, that's cool. And we took it a step further. When he finished the 5th grade, we made him a Finish Rock. We made him a Finish Rock for 5th grade. Everyone has continuation and that kind of stuff. And we did the Finish Rock for 5th grade, and it was inspiring. And to this day, he's got it. I mean, that means something to see a task or a sport, a business, your people, the one phone call, right? I know I have BDRs and salespeople watching that one sale to see it all the way through to the end. that is badass sometimes. It's awesome, right? Anthony here in the room says, things are so much rewarding in the end when every step along the way sucks. Not every step has to suck. Keep in mind, it's not your, it's your reaction to the actions that take place that are making that determination. So that's my whole message for tonight. For everybody that took the time to tune in on day 30 of my Facebook Live challenge, thank you so much. I appreciate you seeing it all the way through with me. I know there are several people that I've seen each time I click that go live button. People are rolling through and checking it out and saying, hey, what's Mike Phillips got to say tonight? And to me, that's really special because it could be, I mean, one of my coolest, in my opinion, one of the coolest ones. My 10-year-old, that was the highlight of his night the other night. He says, Dad, that was the coolest thing. We're talking about 4th grade in the summertime and let's go, right? And so he right away, he asked if I gave him my other tripod. And so he posted another YouTube video today because that's going to be his summertime. So that's his follow through. That's his finish rock, So for everybody that has tuned in, thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure that's the message. If you commit to doing something, do it excellently. Is excellently a word? I think excellently is a word if you're an excellent person, right? So do it well, be brilliant at it, kick ass, follow through all the way to the end, and just, I think you said earlier, it's like the Mortal Kombat thing, finish him, right? Just finish it all the way through and be well. Even if you don't have that perfection of the along the way, you're going to meet it. I mean, for me, if you could see what I got in this room, I got some cool awards and set up and stuff behind me, and I managed to get the green screen. I mean, I went in with the Facebook Live thing. I bought a cooler mount for my phone. I've got a wireless mic now because I thought that'd be cool, right? Because I really need a wireless mic for my phone. I'm like 6 feet from it. My goodness, actually 4 feet from it, right? Right. But you get all this stuff and I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to do it, I want to make it excellent. I want to make this something that's worthwhile, that down the line, if somebody found this a year from now, 2 years from now, it comes up in my time hop feed, it's still going to be worthwhile sharing because I saw it all the way through and it was at least good. And by then maybe Jason could say, maybe it's like a fine wine. Maybe it's matured a little bit, right? Maybe by then. Or I'll look back and go, golly, what the heck was I talking about? So for everybody that's ridden with me along the way for this journey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure on your tasks, do them with excellence. Excellence is the word. Thank you. Sometimes I can't put it all together. And be brilliant at it and follow through. Finish all those tasks. So thank you again for joining me tonight for my Facebook Live Day 30. Hope you guys have a absolutely fantastic Memorial Day weekend. Tune in tomorrow night. My buddy Jared McGreevy is doing we're doing a 2-person interview. So I'm going to have a little split screen right there. And we're doing a 2-person interview. He's got some questions lined up. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I'm nervous. That's one of those things that's nervous. And of course, for me, I got to take my own advice. When I tell my kids, like my son, he gets nervous. My 10-year-old, he competes in gymnastics at the Olympic Training Center. And he gets nervous. Carter, you guys saw him the other night. And I said, well, what is the physiology you experience when you get nervous? And he's like, well, my stomach gets knotted up and my heart rate goes up and maybe I sweat a little bit and I start breathing harder and that kind of stuff when I'm nervous. I said, okay, well, what is it when you get excited? He says, well, when I get excited, my stomach knots up and I get a little bit nervous and my breathing starts to get a little higher. So it's really a matter of how you react to what's out in front of you, what your experiences are. So, and there's Jared right at the end. So you're going to have to go back to the beginning and watch it. So anyway, thank you again, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Have a weekend full of excellence. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and tune in and see me and Jared, who just tuned in right there, tomorrow afternoon. We're on at 5:30 Eastern. We're on at 3:30 Mountain. For all this Mountain Time, folks. Okay? We'll see you then.